Okay, welcome to the Nagual Zone. I am Anaam, and today we are talking about something very interesting. We're gonna do one of those rare videos where I talk about the parasite, the predator, the flyers, whatever you want to call them, uh, the banana termites, whatever. It's this force, inorganic being, or inorganic beings that prey upon the human luminous being in a very specific way for very specific reasons that the Toltec seers were able to delineate those reasons and really uh, sharpen their focus on this parasite that would much rather remain hidden and continue its sustenance through the human energy. I don't tend to do videos upon this topic too much because, uh, you know, at the end of the day, discussing the parasite is not going to get you really in real life. It's kind of just tends to be another discussion of a Netflix movie or something. Do you know what I mean? So, but I think it is important today to understand what it does and consequently what we do to ourselves, what it teaches us to do to ourselves. And I feel that that is important so that you can self-correct from then on. So I'm assuming that everyone is familiar with the fact that the Toltec warriors contend that we are not the ultimate predator in this world, that and all of nature is made up of predation. Nature is a predatory process. It depends on predation. Each thing lives on something else in order to gain its energy, and in turn is food for something else that takes its energy, and so on and so forth. So it is, in fact, one of the most illogical and bullshit, blind, egotistical ways to say, yeah, no, mankind is the top, is the peak, the what is it? The white people have this name, apex predator. Apex predator. Everything to just stroke one's ego. Apex predator. But mankind is not the apex predator. In fact, there is nothing called an apex predator. That's just kind of silly nonsense. There are life is a circular event. It's a circular process. So there's no apex. Only machines and egos tend to think in terms of apexes, and up and down and bottom and then top, and life force moves in circular ways. Mankind has been preyed upon for many thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and the cycle seems to reach a peak of feeding frenzy, and then something collapses. White scientists and these anthropologists, they call it a collapse of civilization or a reset. And these resets continue to happen throughout the ages. They continue to happen. Now, that's a bit of a separate topic. However, the script that these inorganic beings, at the very least, the ones who are the parasites upon humanity at this time, the script they run is very, it's a predictable, simple principle that these inorganic beings, whichever world they enter, they use the same script because it works every time. It's kind of like It's kind of like, those call centers in India. Hello, those Indian call centers where they try and sell you some bullshit thing, Microsoft, fake Microsoft Windows, or your computer's got a virus. Those ones, those scam artists. They have these sheets of paper that they reel off. You can literally hear them reading off these scripts. You even have like normal corporate companies, their employees are all told to read off of scripts. And no matter who the customer is, you can be calling from Hawaii or Australia or Alaska or Japan, it doesn't matter. They'll reel off the same thing because it works, right? These predators are exactly that. Now, there's some things to note about the parasite. The parasite, it finds it nearly impossible to be creative. Nearly impossible. Because it depends on, let's put it this way, the parasite is not intelligent and creative. Rather, the parasite depends on the stupidity and the predictability of the prey. And if the parasite encounters particularly energetic beings that it would like to prey upon, it dumbs them down. It strips away their intelligence and their creative problem-solving abilities, so that the prey becomes docile, dumbed down, unable to problem solve, and so you have an easier target. It's pretty much the same process what spiders do. They'll paralyze the victim, and so the victim's will to, can't move, paralyzed, and so it's much easier prey. Very similar thing, but it's a domination of the mental processes. Now, the parasite achieves the dumbing down mainly through indoctrination camps, labor camps for children. There's a word called school for them, schools, and the prey has been indoctrinated. Each generation willingly and proudly sends its children off to be indoctrinated, dumbed down, all those things, unable to creatively problem solve in order to free themselves. And they get packaged in a little tiffin box so that the parasite can then eat off of it for life. This is the process. Now, the parasite mainly, try to think of the parasite mainly as a stage magician. You know what the magician does? What most magicians do, if they reveal their tricks, you can see that on YouTube, in places. When they reveal their tricks, it's like, oh, right, oh man, it's so simple. He was doing such a simple thing. But when you're actually in the trick, when you're, he's flourish and my beautiful assistant will now be chopped in half or whatever else. And, I shall appear at the back of the stage after I dive down into this box, whatever they do. And it's a big razzle dazzle. Everyone's awed and wowed. Like, wow, oh my God, how could he have done it? David Blaine, how could he have? Oh, he's surely in league with the devil. And he has demonic help. Go to a David Blaine video and watch the comments on YouTube. He has demonic help. I know it. I know it. People say, I can do the same. So that's what the parasite does. The parasite is a magician, a hallucination expert. When I'll reveal to you what the parasite does, and it's not like I will reveal to you, it's a simple matter of creative problem solving, and we can see easily, oh, I see, yeah, okay, the only way they could do that is The only way that person could do that magic trick is if the cards were first hidden away there, and yeah, there, see, he's redirecting there. That's when he's doing the switch. If you kind of know what you're looking for, it's easy, right? There's a very interesting TV show that used to happen where these two very experienced magicians, they are good friends, tell and Abel or some this name, and world famous magicians come and they try and trick them, and these two magicians have to say, how did that person do the trick? And if they can't figure it out, then the person wins a lottery or a big prize money or whatever. I'm sure some of you may know the name of it. It's like that. If you know the trick, it's Penn and Teller. There you go. Jan, thank you. Penn and Teller. Very interesting. Watch it is. It makes for really interesting watching. And some really amazing, talented artists come and try and present their tricks to them. Parasite is exactly like that. It will give you an incredible trick, and all of humanity gets distracted, whilst behind the scenes, it's getting on with its agendas constantly. Okay, none of this is news to you. However, we're just doing a recap. Now, the main way that the parasite works is, remember this one word, emphasis. Emphasis. The parasite is an expert, just like the magician, at emphasizing certain things and de-emphasizing certain things. That's how it gets away with what you have been surprised looking around you for the since March 2020. Hopefully you have been surprised. I hope you have been surprised. Otherwise, you're part of the dumbed down crew. How dumb, stupid, and non-intelligent the generations have become. They cannot see the obvious, literally staring in the face, cannot see it, don't want to see it. And it's all about a trick of emphasis. Now, the parasite knows one thing that most humanity is never taught, that the only other people that are masters of this is the parasite and, to my knowledge, warriors. Specifically Toltec warriors, because that's all I can talk about. And that is our ability to pay attention. Our attention. Warriors are masters of their own attention, and the parasite knows the science of attention. How to grab attention, keep it there, and mold the attention to its own purposes. Right? This is why it's easy for warriors to really see, because warriors are familiar with, it's like Penn and Teller, they're magicians themselves, right? So that's why they're there, to be able to spot all the tricks. And it's the same trick. If you can become eventually a master of your own attention, I explained this mechanism in another video, I did a whole video on it. I'll recap it very quickly. Is, imagine your awareness is a torch. If it's a warrior, the torch is emitting blinding light, the light of awareness. It's a floodlight that illuminates absolutely everything. Well, the average man, the battery is long dead. It kind of flickers a little bit, and it kind of nothing works. You can barely, there's no beam coming out. The hand holding that torch, so you have the light of awareness, you have the torch, which is awareness. The hand that is holding the torch and guiding the beam to illuminate wherever you want to illuminate is your attention. Where your attention goes is what you become aware of. Do you understand? If you're not paying attention to something, there's no way for you to be aware of it, at least consciously. And the parasite knows this. So do the warriors. Warriors train themselves, train their attention. The whole training is attention training. And the parasite tricks us into emphasizing certain emanations and de-emphasizing certain emanations. And what that does is that emphasis, it's very blatant, it's obvious, it's in the face, and so the attention just goes there and fixes there. And the parasite is very expert at that, fixing your attention. And it uses many tools that all work together. TV is the least of it. Radio, TV, social, mass media, basically, and I include social media in that, is a massive attention grab, right? It creates a flickering attention that people can't find it hard to pay attention to one thing in a relaxed way for a long period of time. It creates a hyperactive being that has a flickering attention, right? That person is very easy to control and dumb down and manipulate. The parasite cannot exist in certain bands of emanations. Okay? The human luminous being is so adaptive that it can exist in virtually every band of emanation that is available to the human mold. Okay? We get a bit technical here, but and having to use these kind of weird terms, but it's the best way to explain. The human luminous being is able to access and adapt to a vast gamut of vibrational emanations. You can look back into your own life and you can see at one point you may have had no money, literally no money. You didn't know where the next meal is going to come from, but you adapted. And you're still sitting here with a computer screen. You got YouTube now. You see, so things didn't kill you. There may be other things that you may have thought, how am I going to get through this? And you adapted, you made the best of it, and you got through it. There are beings that tell you that half the circumstances we live in, those beings so powerful in their particular bands of emanations would be unable to adapt and consequently be killed out very quickly by nature if they were in the same situations that you have been in. It's because as a human, one of your superpowers is adaptability. You can adapt astonishing amounts of situations. You can adapt to staggering amounts of situations. And this makes the human luminous. This is our greatest power, superpower. Yeah. The parasite is not that adaptive. It cannot. It is too rigid. It is non-creative. It depends on your energy to live. It can only exist within a certain band of emanations. Those emanations, we can best say that the human body feels as fear, and I'm not talking about fear of survival. I'm talking fear, terror, anxiety, panic attacks, depression. All of those bands of emanations are the domain of the parasite. The parasite cannot exist in any other bands of emanations. It just can't do it. It's not designed for that. Nature did not design it for that. It can only exist in very ultra low frequency vibrations, very thick, low hums. That's where it can exist. It cannot exist in higher melodious harmonies and frequencies. It just not designed for that. It's like deep sea fish. They can't be swimming on the surface of the sea. They'll be killed. They can't deal with the pressure, the lack of pressure. They are adapted to the deep sea where it's dark and the pressure is immense, right? And so the parasite has to make you come to it. Parasite cannot come to you. It cannot. By definition, you exist as a luminous being in a very different state. By definition, I point you to your own children. They exist in a very different state of emanations and vibrations, unless they've been traumatized, a different story. But most human children, watch them in the park. Yeah, you couldn't keep up with them for 1 minute. That's how much energy they have. And they can do that all day, every day, for years and years. That's how much luminous energy is channeling through them, bursting out of them. The parasite cannot exist in that band of emanations. So it must make you come to it. It must create a pen. We can call it a farm, a battery farm. And it does this by emphasizing, by creating an environment which emphasizes the emanations in which the parasite exists. Violence, brutality, senseless violence, violence that makes no sense. In nature, there's nothing called senseless violence. In a manner of speaking, there is random death, absolutely. Just like, but, lions, like, very few creatures kill for sport, like cats kill for sport, but not, nature isn't designed that way in its, do you know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's a debatable topic, but just as an idea. And so the parasite must create an environment which suits its world, its emanations, where it can exist and feed. It emphasizes all of that constantly. The last thing that the parasite wants is for you to be calm, relaxed, and accessing inner silence. Because as soon as you are, as soon as you access inner silence, your body must and will eventually become calm and relaxed. You don't need to be, you don't need to be breathing like an idiot and not even knowing that your breath is so bad. Inner silence will make you breathe easily. That's what inner silence will make you do. Your body will go into a relaxed, calm, balanced state, like right now. Here, you are immune to the predator. It simply cannot step into this domain. Can't do it. It must make you come to it. As soon as you switch that, you can do this and then go and watch TV. What are you doing? You're switching your emanations. You're emphasizing certain part of your emanations, and the predator can say, hello, welcome, come and give me some food. Look around you. Everything is based on emphasizing. In this world, you'll never see the good stuff being emphasized, at least on a scale that matters. Never. You just won't do it. Just cannot happen. Impossible. It occurs, the same idea occurs to the entire world, all the countries. The same idea occurs to them. Wear something on your face. That's how uncreative you have. Do you know how different the Japanese are from people in Iceland? They could be from different planets. The only similarity is eyes, nose, ears, and the same arms and legs and all that. In here, the difference is it's not the same species even. Yet, they come up with the same thing. The most stupid way to deal with a, this is going to go on YouTube, so no use, but you know what I'm talking about, right? How is that possible? Because the same thing is emphasized. Same thing is emphasized. It's one, people think this NWO, you know what I'm talking about, is coming. It is almost here. No, it's not almost here. It's been here, alive and thriving since what is called the Industrial Revolution. We would make that about 100 years ago. Yeah. So it's not coming. It's already been here. It's just moving to the next stage. It's been here for a very, very long time. And I can prove it to you like this. However, do your own thinking. Come up with your own observations on why I would even say that. However, you have clear evidence today that the same stupidity is emphasized and creative solutions are de-emphasized, so that the game of feeding can carry on. And this is everywhere. Every topic, you can take anything. Anything. You will see that certain things which have nothing to do with holisticness and pro-organic life, those things are de-emphasized, and unholistic digitalization and homogenization is heavily emphasized. Syntheticness is heavily emphasized. As synthetic as you can be, that's to be proud of. And the puny humans, the weak organics, this will come to pass. You will see there's not long to go where enhanced reality is going to be emphasized. There's nothing enhanced about it. It's totally fake. You are basically you will be chipped and neutered, just like your pets. Vaccinated, chipped, and neutered. It will be on your data sheet. And humans will be overjoyed to be plugged into the enhanced reality matrix. Enhanced reality. Nothing enhanced about it at all. But there you go. That's how. The problem with stupidity is that it's hard to become intelligent. Stupidity is a self-fulfilling prophecy. After a certain level of stupidity, you're gonna just become dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber. Just like after a certain level of working towards intelligence, creative problem solving, all those things, you're gonna become more intelligent and more and more and more intelligent, right? It's like that. It's the same thing. The mind learns to be dumb, or the mind can learn to be intelligent. It doesn't matter to your mind. It really doesn't matter. So remember, the Parasite emphasizes. The whole game is emphasis. And what emphasis does is trap attention. All your attention goes to what is being emphasized. And remember, where attention goes, energy flows. And so what does the predator feed on? A certain band of energetic emanations. You see how this is nothing new what I'm saying, but this is the way the warriors look at it. You could say that, okay, he's just saying the same thing with different words. Yeah, I am. Absolutely. This is the game. Watch, and your job is to change the emphasis. Change the emphasis. You choose the emphasis. What do you want to emphasize in your life? Don't let the parasite choose what to emphasize in your life. You choose what to emphasize in your life. And Toltec warriors say that the one thing that anyone should be emphasizing in their life is inner silence, impeccability, impeccable inner silence, impeccability, learning to hunt your own self-importance. These will automatically make your luminosity brighter. And the brighter your luminosity, the less availability the predator has in those emanations. It's not designed for those emanations. I hope that kind of makes sense and helps to clarify, or maybe come at it from a different angle, whatever works for you. But just start to watch the emphasis and get away from that and choose your own emphasis. It's your day to live. You choose the emphasis. Don't just take on other people's. Everyone will want to emphasize their stuff in your life, all the way up to the predator. Your kids want to emphasize their stuff in your life, don't they? But that's just the nature of interacting with attention. Your attention is pulled every which way. Certain emphasis are needed. Your kids, you have to pay attention, right? You can't just ignore, but you can ignore the parasite's emphasis. In fact, warriors say, take that emphasis and flip it right around, and you will completely land into reality. Just flip it right around. Oh, the predator wants to emphasize a male god, a male deity, omnipotent and omniscient and omni this and omni. Flip it around. It's a female. It's a female deity. That's omni this and omni that and all the rest of it. It's the female deity that gave birth to creation. Right? Female came out of the ribs of man. Why not a shin? A shin bone or a thigh bone is at least a bit stronger. What the fuck is this rib business? Flip it around. The female gave birth to man. Suddenly, even if you say the female's rib became a man, you're still closer to reality. No man ever took his fucking rib and made a female out of it. What the fuck is this nonsense? Who believes this shit? I used to believe this shit. It's all about emphasis. It's all about emphasis. And emphasis has a hypnotic, the more authoritative the emphasis, the more hypnotic its quality. The more it'll trap your attention, leech your attention right out of you. So don't give authority to others easily. Be very careful who you give authority to in your life that emphasizes. Vet all of that. Vet it thoroughly. Flip everything around that the parasite says. There is a worldwide something going on. Flip it around. There's absolutely nothing going on. Flip it right around. It's a game of vibrations. And this world is changing vibration, and that's what's actually happening, right? The parasite wants to do certain things in this world for it to remain within a certain band of emanations. But that's another bigger topic that we can get into another time. All right, let's open it up for questions.